Welcome, everyone. Is this working? Can you hear? Okay, welcome, everyone. For those of you who are able, I now invite you to stand. If you're joining us online, wave. President Jenkins, the faculty, staff, officers of the university, guests and candidates are assembled, and the hour is at hand. With your permission, may these proceedings begin.
In the tradition of the Academy and as acting president of the School for International Training, I, Carol Jenkins, officially convene the 60th Annual Commencement Ceremony. The proceedings may begin.
Thank you. Please be seated, everyone. And out of respect for our commencement ceremony and our graduates, please now take a moment like me to make sure your cell phones are silenced. We are so glad you have all joined us today. I am Dr. Catherine Inskeep, the Associate Provost for Academic Affairs and Accreditation, and I am pleased to officially welcome you all to today's ceremony. Today, we welcome the graduates of the class of 2026 who are present with us here in Vermont, joined by their family and friends. We also welcome all of our graduates who join us via live stream from all corners of the globe. Additionally, we welcome our alumni, faculty, including emeriti faculty, and staff. I also convey a warm welcome to our platform party. As I introduce members of our party, I ask them to please stand. Dr. Sonalini Sapra, Assistant Provost for Academic Affairs and Faculty Development. Dr. Saeed Grayweed, Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs. Alan Cutler, Vice Chair of the World Learning Board of Trustees. Barbara J. Smith, our keynote speaker for today's ceremony. Carol Jenkins, President and CEO of World Learning, Acting President of SIT Graduate Institute. And Carla Leinbach, Director of Alumni and External Engagement. Thank you all for being here today to celebrate and honor our graduates who've all worked incredibly hard to get to this very important moment. Before we move on, we would like to recognize the lands where you have studied and lived to gain your degree, both in Vermont and worldwide. Here in Vermont, SIT is the guest of this land of Wantastiquet, whose guardian is the Abenaki Nation. We thank the Abenaki for their safeguarding of this land and aim to share their passion for the history, spirituality, and ecology of the places and peoples of this globe. For those of you who are interested in learning more about the tribe, we have added 2 QR codes to our program, where you can find many educational resources and more information about the history and the current work of the people. I also encourage you to learn about the Indigenous organizations wherever you are based, to explore about what they are doing locally and consider the ways you might contribute or support their efforts. I now invite Dr. Richard Walls, Chair of the Masters in Climate Change and Global Sustainability, to the podium for a land acknowledgement.
Thank you, Catherine. Karabuni, hello, esteemed guests, graduates, and faculty. Today we acknowledge the land of Vermont, cared for by the Wabanaki people for generations. These custodians and their wisdom sustained this place. The Wabanaki continue to guide us in how we interact with and care for our surroundings and one another. I'm also honored to acknowledge the land of Zanzibar, an inspiring place for growth and learning in our students. As a visitor to Zanzibar for 30 years, I am connected to this place and its Swahili communities, but still learning from them about its traditions of well-being in an era of change. We have been privileged to listen to, learn from, and stand in partnership with the Swahili people where Africa meets the Indian Ocean. For more than 1,000 years, the Swahili of Zanzibar have practiced sustainably along coastlines alive with mangrove forests and coral reefs. Let us express our gratitude to the Swahili who welcomed us and shared their wisdom. This acknowledgement is a humble expression of thanks to a society that enabled our journey towards this degree. I extend this gratitude also to the land and communities that connect us across our global learning centers. Congratulations to our graduates and their families.
Thank you very much, Richard, for your heartfelt words. I now have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Saeed Grayweed and inviting him to the podium to deliver the welcome address. Dr. Grayweed serves as Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs for the School for International Training, where he provides leadership for the institution's academic programs, faculty, teaching and learning, and research. His work reflects a deep commitment to global education and to engaging complex international challenges through multiple perspectives and ways of knowing. An accomplished scholar and academic leader, Dr. Grayweed holds a PhD from the University of Surrey and a master's from Mohammed VI University in Rabat, Morocco, and was a Fulbright scholar at the University of Texas at Austin. Before joining SIT, he served as head of the research group on migration and culture at Mohammed V University. Please join me in welcoming our Provost and Vice President, Dr. Saeed Grayweed.
Thank you, and welcome everyone. It's such a pleasure to have you here with us. Candidates, today is a punctuation point in your academic life journey. It marks the end of one chapter and ushers the beginning of a new one. Inspired by the tenets of SIT experiential philosophy, you will take a moment to reflect on the learning you have acquired during your study, and as you look ahead, remember that you now partake of the history of an institution that has expanded the frontiers of international education, trained leaders across continents, and contributed to the global efforts of spreading the values of peace and social justice. You have experienced firsthand the interconnectedness of human narratives, unpacked the unfounded claims of the vocabulary of othering, and become aware of the future of humanity, that the future of humanity lies in the extent to which we can all bring together our intellect, affect, and imagination to create new ways of thinking about critical global issues such as climate change, human displacement, sustainability, and education. I trust that whether in your professional or personal lives, you will continue to embrace diverse epistemic cultures, interrogate the systems of oppression and privilege, and support the networks of friendship, solidarity, and understanding. But today is a day of celebration, and there is so much you should be proud of celebrating. The grace and sagacity you have shown navigating a complicated environment are inspiring for all of us. I have heard from your program chairs and capstone facilitators and learned about your intellectual engagement with the critical global issues the world is facing today. We are proud of the way you have embraced a human-centered comparative approach, honed the skills of critical literacy, and enhanced intercultural encounters. We have challenged you to reflect on education and society, study the interface between hegemonic powers and creative dissent, investigate the interrelation of climate change and sustainability, examine the interconnected nature of development and humanitarian assistance, and interrogate the validity claims of indigenous knowledge and scientific theories. And you have lived up to the challenge. We are grateful to you for helping us remain true to our vocation as an institution of innovation and a channel of advocacy against inequities and exclusion. We will remain true to the founding principles of this institution and to its history. We renew the pledge of our commitment to a model of international education, of a model of international education justice, and to creating opportunities of intellectual and professional engagement with critical global issues. Candidates, on your behalf, I would like to extend the warmest feelings of gratitude to your chairs and faculty, SIT and World Learning staff in Vermont and in DC, and at our learning centers across the world. I would also like to thank all our partners who have opened their hearts, homes, and workplaces and welcomed you as a family. Candidates, this is a festive moment, so let's celebrate your success and that of your families and friends and partners. In conclusion, if I may borrow from Shakespeare and just tweak it a little bit, I can say, as he did in As You Like It, go now, you globally engaged citizens. You can be challenged to a battle of wits, and I see you're well armed for the challenge. Congratulations. Thank you. Sorry, I shouldn't leave before introducing and inviting my president. Okay, next is Carol Jenkins, CEO of World Learning and acting president of SIT, will deliver her remarks to the graduates. So President Jenkins has a distinguished career in international education and exchange, as well as humanitarian aid and development. She first joined World Learning in 2007 as Senior Director of International Programs before becoming Executive Vice President in 2014 and CEO in 2017. President Jenkins.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's great to be here with you. And good morning, everyone. And I want to say a special welcome to all of you who are joining us online, virtually, friends, family, soon to be graduates. Thank you. We've gotten many people with us that are joining that are not here in person. For those who are here in person, just keep yourselves well hydrated and just thank you for being part of this occasion. It's my pleasure to welcome you, our soon to be graduates, your families and friends, our faculty, our staff, members of the Board of Trustees, distinguished guests, alumni, and again, everyone who's joined us for this wonderful celebration. To our soon to be graduates, as you know, today marks the culmination of years of hard work, curiosity, perseverance, and growth. It is a day to celebrate not only what you have accomplished, but also who you have become. On behalf of everyone at SIT and World Learning, congratulations. We are truly incredibly proud of you. Earlier this week, I had the opportunity to join a reflection session with the University of Vermont's Leahy Institute in honor of Senator Leahy, our former senator. And these are interns who spent the summer living here on SIT's campus while interning with organizations throughout the Brattleboro community. They were inspiring, full of curiosity, purpose, and optimism. Like you, they were asking themselves an important question: what's next? How do I take what I have learned and use it to make meaningful difference professionally, personally, and in service to others? Vermont Congresswoman Becca Balint, our Congresswoman here in Southern Vermont for the U.S. Congress, joined us for this conversation, and it's just as relevant to you as it was to them a few days ago. You gained new skills, honed your innate character traits, and have been practicing innovative ways to analyze and problem solve. Congresswoman Balint offered a charge to them that I want to share with you today. If you want to maximize your influence and help shape the future, do so with positive relational energy. The energy exchanged between people that helps uplift, enthuse, and renew them. This is not enthusiasm that is manufactured or performative, but the genuine energy that comes from believing in purpose, caring deeply about people, and bringing your whole self to the work. Skills matter. Integrity matters. Authenticity matters. Courage matters. But enthusiasm is what inspires others to join you on the journey. And if I learned anything about SIT graduates, is that you are not just on a journey, you are blazing new trails. As you leave SIT today, my hope is that you will carry that spirit with you. Lead with enthusiasm. Let your integrity guide you, your authenticity ground you, and your curiosity continue to shape you. The world needs leaders who not only know what they stand for, but who inspire others to believe that together we can build something better. Congratulations to the class of 2026. We are honored to call you our graduates, and we cannot wait to see where your journey takes you.
Before we hear from our keynote speaker, I'd like to invite Alan Cutler, Vice Chair of the World Learning Board of Trustees, to share a few words. Over the course of his career as an investor, Alan has held senior positions in New York, London, Tokyo, Singapore, and Hong Kong, advising governments and companies on a wide array of capital raising and corporate finance transactions. He's also a member of the New York Angels, an investor consortium focused on startup enterprises in the New York area. Alan joined World Learning's Board of Trustees in 2011 and served as chair from 2023 to 2025. We are glad to welcome him back to our commencement ceremony this year.
Good morning, everybody, and I, like you, am enjoying the heat, and we'll be through with this before too long. But anyway, faculty, families, friends, and most importantly, graduates. It's an honor to be here today to join you for this remarkable milestone. Commencement is a reminder of what gives us hope for the future. Today, we celebrate not only the degrees you've earned, but also the resilience, the curiosity, the determination that brought you to this moment. Your diploma is far more than a credential. It's a testament to your perseverance, your willingness to challenge yourself, and your commitment to lifelong learning and growth. On behalf of the entire World Learning Board of Trustees, congratulations. You've earned this moment, and you have every reason to be proud. As members of the board, we're charged with stewarding the long-term future of this institution. We think not only about the legacy we have inherited, but we also about the mission we protect and the impact we hope future generations will have. Today, you become part of that legacy. As you cross the stage, which will happen in just a few moments, you join a global community of alumni whose work improves lives, strengthens communities, advances knowledge, and creates positive changes in every corner of the world. For more than 60 years, SIT has demonstrated that international education is far more than just an academic pursuit. It's a catalyst for constructive and collaboration and progress. Through immersive experiences and meaningful cross-cultural engagement, you've learned to embrace complexity rather than shy away from it. You've developed the ability to ask thoughtful questions, challenge assumptions, listen with intention, and seek solutions that reflect the diverse perspectives. These aren't simply professional skills. These are skills that we all know the world needs urgently today. You graduate at a moment when many of our greatest challenges transcend borders. From climate change and global health to conflict, migration, education, and humanitarian assistance, the issues of our time need experts, advocates, researchers, diplomats, and teachers who know how to effectively collaborate and build bridges where others see barriers. That's all of you, here in this space today, as well as online. With the education you've received here at SIT, you're well equipped for the responsibility you now carry forward. Thank you for the passion, purpose, and promise I know you will bring into this world. So again, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, congratulations. We have every confidence that you will continue to embody this institution's values, and we're proud to welcome you as fellow alumni and lifelong members of the SIT community.
Thank you very much, Alan. It is now my pleasure to introduce this year's keynote speaker, Barbara Smith. Barbara Smith is Vice President of Peace Programs at the Carter Center, overseeing democracy, human rights, conflict resolution, and rule of law programs which operate projects and observe elections across the globe. Before coming to the Carter Center in September 2020, Barbara was principal and founder of the international development consulting firm, Mountain Time Development. She also was a senior associate at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, focused on the Human Rights Initiative, conducting field work and research on civil society. Her wide-ranging career also includes assignments at the United States Agency for International Development and with the National Security Council in the White House. At USAID, she held a number of positions, most recently as Deputy Assistant to the Administrator in the Bureau of Policy, Planning and Learning. She also co-led the team that created the seminal USAID 2013 Democracy, Human Rights and Governance Strategy, which is applied across approximately 100 countries. Other positions she held at USAID included Senior Policy Analyst, Deputy Coordinator for Middle East Transition Response during the Arab Spring, and Senior Field Advisor for Democracy and Governance. Barbara Smith has served on the National Security Council as a Director for Afghanistan and Pakistan Affairs and as a Senior Director for Governance and Law at the Asia Foundation. In Bosnia and Herzegovina, she was spokesperson for the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees in Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, she was Assistant Country Representative for the Asia Foundation, where she also directed the foundation's effort to assist Afghanistan in holding its first post-Taliban elections. Please join me in welcoming Barbara Smith.
So first, I want to apologize for bringing the heat and humidity from my home state of Georgia. Good morning. Good afternoon to those who are online. Good morning, graduates, families, trustees, friends in Vermont, and all of those from around the world. It's such an honor for me to be here with you all, and especially to stand with the graduates of the School for International Training. Your work could not be more relevant than it is today. Today's graduates represent fields that help shape our shared future: diplomacy, humanitarian action, international education, sustainability, conflict resolution, and development. These are not easy paths. I'll repeat that. These are not going to be easy paths. But they are chosen by people like you who believe that a more peaceful, just, and sustainable world is still possible, and who are willing to do the hard work required to help build it. That belief is also at the heart of SIT. Your education has not been grounded by just what happens in the classroom, but in the experience of learning across cultures, perspectives, and differences. SIT's commitment to intercultural understanding, social justice, and sustainability prepares you for a world that is increasingly interconnected and complex, and is a program and a set of skills that is known around the world in the development community and beyond. So I want to begin my speech by saying something directly to you all, the graduates. I think you have chosen exactly the right profession for this time, even if you are entering at a really extraordinarily difficult moment. You don't need me to tell you that the world is facing some serious challenges right now. Democracy is under strain. Conflict is escalating. Civic space is narrowing. Humanitarian needs are growing. And yet at the same time, many of the systems and the funding are not there. They're not there to support peace building, development, human rights, and humanitarian action, which are all facing significant pressure. It would be easy to look at this and feel discouraged. But I want to share with you that after spending much of my career working in public service and peace building, I have learned something important. And that's to remember that history doesn't move in a straight line, and neither do careers. President Carter who founded the Carter Center in Atlanta, where I now work, often pointed to his mother, Miss Lillian, as an example of life guided by service rather than a fixed plan. At age 68, when many people are thinking about retirement, she joined the Peace Corps and moved to India to serve as a public health volunteer. She didn't ask whether she was too old or whether the timing wasn't right. She simply saw an opportunity to help and said, yes, this is where I need to be. I can relate somewhat to Miss Lillian. When I was a student, I didn't exactly have the perfect plan for how my life was going to unfold. Service was my North Star. I knew I wanted to serve, but that path itself was anything but linear. In fact, for a very, very brief time, I thought I'll become a doctor. But I don't like the sight of blood, so I quickly went out the door. So instead, I shifted. I studied government and political science and pursued opportunities that allowed me to serve, inspired by the commitments of others who had chosen that path before me. I began, as you heard, with State Department, worked at USAID, and served on the National Security Council, and eventually joined the Carter Center back in 2020. Along the way, I have had the privilege, and I see this as a truly a privilege, to work on some of the most significant international challenges of my time, from Afghanistan to the Arab Spring. Looking back, what connected those experiences wasn't a master plan. I didn't necessarily know where I was going to end up. It was that commitment to service. I share that because many of you may be wondering what comes next. I know some of you do know, I believe, where you're heading, at least for that first step, but others may be less certain. Some of you may be asking, where do I fit? What impact can I have in this context, in this environment? And can one person truly make a difference? And those are natural questions. But I hope they don't become paralyzing questions. I hope you'll continue to move forward. One of President Jimmy Carter's favorite lessons came from his high school teacher, Miss Julia Coleman, whom he later quoted in his inaugural address. She said, "We must adjust to changing times and still hold to unchanging principles." I'll repeat that. We must adjust to changing times and still hold to unchanging principles. That lesson feels especially important today. We will have to adjust to changing times. You'll confront new technologies like artificial intelligence. You'll have to navigate political polarization, misinformation, global threats, and challenges that we can't even imagine right now. But the challenge is not simply to adapt. The challenge is to adapt without surrendering the principles that brought you here: dignity, inclusion, the desire to serve the common good. Those principles guide our work at the Carter Center. Founded by President Jimmy Carter and Rosalind Carter, our mission is clear for us. It's to wage peace, to fight disease, and to build hope. In our peace programs that I have the pleasure and honor to help lead, we partner with local communities to prevent conflict, support democratic resilience, protect human rights, and strengthen peaceful societies. At the center of that work is the belief that it's the people that are closest to the problem that are often closest to the solution. Let me give you one example of our work from our work in Mali. So some of you may be familiar with the Malian context. Many communities are facing violence. And for example, in the community of Fermake, the local elementary school hasn't actually been able to hold classes for over a decade because armed forces drove out teachers and closed classrooms. Residents also felt abandoned by their government, who didn't take action to open that school. So our team started working in Fermake. Our team brought together residents and government officials to talk and to listen to them, to hear about the issues that mattered most to them in order to build trust and help to foster that trust. The community identified common health-related issues in the community, and we worked together to make a plan to implement solutions. This work, along with training and conflict resolution, helped to rebuild that trust and gave them a sense of agency, leading to a more peaceful and empowered community. Based on that experience, the community members then felt prepared to negotiate directly with the armed groups to reopen the schools, and today more than 400 children are back in school. What I love about that example is it reminds us of what the work looks like in practice. It reminds us of the importance of those communities and engagement with those communities. This work is often done very quietly. It doesn't necessarily make international headlines. It begins though when people choose dialogue instead of violence. It begins when we decide dignity and coexistence are worth fighting for. That kind of work rarely happens overnight, and neither does progress. One of the most important lessons I have learned throughout my career is that perseverance is not naive. Perseverance is not, it's not pretending problems don't exist. Perseverance is seeing the world clearly and choosing to continue anyway. It is the discipline of staying engaged, even when cynicism would be easier. It's the decision to help keep building those relationships when division is what's being rewarded. And that brings me to another lesson that I hope you'll carry with you. None of you will do this alone. You will need colleagues and friends who challenge you and support you. You'll need mentors to tell you the truth, even when it may not be what you want to hear. You will need those friends to remind you of who you are when the work is difficult and you're tired and it's too challenging. I have depended on those relationships throughout my own career, and I encourage you to invest in them very intentionally. I also hope that you'll stay close to your sense of mission, whatever that may be. For me, that mission has always been about service. My father taught me that service was not a slogan, it is a way of living, and my mother helped inspire my admiration for President Carter and his lifelong commitment to peace, human rights, and helping others. Those influences shaped my path. Your path may look different. Some of you may go to work in government, some in international organizations, some may work in nonprofits, and some may go into careers that we can't even imagine or haven't even thought of yet, which I find very exciting. Wherever your path leads, I encourage you to return to a simple question. Am I helping people live with greater dignity, greater freedom, greater safety, greater hope? That question won't solve every dilemma, but it'll help orient you toward what matters. Graduates, the world does not need more people who can simply describe a problem or assess it from a distance. It needs people who can engage complexity with humility. It needs people who can work across cultures and across differences. And it needs people who still believe that human beings can solve problems together. And that is what SIT has prepared you to do. So today, celebrate what you have accomplished. Celebrate the long nights and the fieldwork and the research, the friendships, the faculty who've challenged you, and the family members and loved ones who helped bring you to this moment. When you leave this ceremony, I hope you can carry these simple reminders with you. So they are: adjust to changing times, but hold fast to changing principles. Do not get lost in despair. Invest in relationships. Stay close to your mission. And keep going. The world is difficult, but it's not fixed. The future is uncertain, but it is not closed. Peace is hard, but it is possible. And because of graduates like you, I remain hopeful in what comes next. So I offer my congratulations to you, class of 2026. Thank you.
Thank you so sincerely for that very beautiful and inspiring speech. Words we all benefit from hearing and reminders we always need. Last year, Dr. Sora Friedman was selected by her peers to serve as faculty speaker, but unfortunately was unable to join us in person. She is here today. So it is therefore with a particular pleasure that I welcome her today to have this opportunity to learn from her experience, perspective, and wisdom. I would now like to invite not only Dr. Friedman, but also Professor Emerita Linda Drake-Gobo to join me at the podium. Linda has known Sora in many capacities over the years as her teacher, mentor, colleague, and longtime friend, and will share a few words before formally welcoming Sora to the community of Emeriti faculty and introducing Sora as our faculty speaker.
Good morning. Esteemed faculty colleagues and friends, graduating students, alumni, members of the board and administration, honored guests here and virtually online. If my math is correct, this marks the 31st anniversary of SIT's first all-school formal commencement. Don't ask me how I know that. Some of us may not want to admit we remember that milestone, or that we were on the planning committee that helped make it happen. Indeed, B. Fantini, who's here, was on that committee, drew lots and lots of pictures of gowns that are mentioned in your program, and arranged for the graduation gowns from women's cooperatives in Africa, Latin America, and Southeast Asia. It is with great pleasure, respect, and deep admiration that I introduce Dr. Sora Friedman, a distinguished SIT emerita faculty member, alumna, renowned international educator, and I must add, a former mentee, valued colleague, and dear friend. Last year at about this time, Dr. Friedman retired from SIT in the field of international education to pursue new professional endeavors in coaching with a certification in somatic coaching. I know we're all eager to hear her reflections, but before she speaks, I'd like to offer a few quick words. Sora's professional journey has been one of dedication, vision, and unwavering commitment to the mission of SIT, world learning, and the broader world of international education. As both a faculty member and degree chair, and earlier in her career as a program designer and administrator in international education, she helped transform lives and foster global citizenship. For many years, Sora has been a pillar of excellence at SIT. She has shaped the minds of countless graduate students, guiding them with compassion, insight, and deep respect for their unique journeys. Her approach has always been grounded in a strong belief in the power of education and a clear understanding that the future of global peace and development rests in the hands of those we teach and mentor today, as we've just heard. In her early days at World Learning in DC, she was a designer of the first version of the Youth Exchange Program that still exists today. Beyond SIT, her leadership in the field of international education focused on developing professionals through her writing, presentations, and especially her more recent work on women and leadership. In recognition of her impact, she was honored with the International Education Award in Leadership and Collaboration from NAFSA, the Association of International Educators, an award that reflects her lasting influence on both our institution and the wider global community. Since leaving the full-time faculty here, she still continues to work with professionals in the field as each improves their practice and increase their footprint on the field. It was a bit over 40 years ago. Wow. It was a bit over 40 years ago that Sora began her connection with SIT as the youngest student in her entering class and as a resident assistant in campus housing, working for me in student support services. That year, she and her cohort deepened their passion for intercultural understanding and international education, passions that have shaped their careers. Over the years, Sora returned to SIT again and again, first as a guest speaker on policy advocacy, then as an internship supervisor, adjunct faculty member, and finally full-time faculty member in the early 2000s. And the rest, they say, is history. It is such a pleasure to have her here as the faculty speaker. We honor her extraordinary contributions, the many lives she has touched, and the vision of a more just, compassionate, and interconnected world that she has helped bring to life. I look forward to hearing what she has to say.
Thank you, Linda. Can you hear me okay? That's okay. Okay. That's graduates who are online, graduates who are here on this amazing campus, first and most importantly, congratulations to you. I am so happy for you and so excited for you. You have achieved amazing things. It is no easy feat to complete a master's or a doctoral degree, much less one that requires you to study on top of holding a full-time job or family obligations, or one that requires you to move around the globe, not 3, not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 times for some of you. It's amazing. You have worked so hard for this moment. The first thing I want to share is an invitation to let that settle in. This is your graduation day. Today is your day. Congratulations. This is, yeah. That's administration, member of board, colleagues, and especially my dear faculty colleagues. Thank you for the privilege of serving as faculty commencement speaker. While we're here to commemorate the achievements of our graduates, this does also mark the completion of my first year of retirement from full-time work with SIT. So the moment is an opportunity to think about transitions, some personal, mostly for all of you, our graduates today. So as has been mentioned, I was originally invited to serve as faculty speaker last year. And because of a last-minute injury that occurred when the car was packed, we were driving 9 hours from West Virginia. I won't go there. It was crazy, and I was unable to travel, and my heart broke. I want you to know I have updated this talk so that it is appropriate for now. And the theme you'll see is reflecting on lessons that I've learned since I arrived to SIT as a student. It was 42 years ago. That's one of my classmates and another of Linda's RAs is calling in now. The connections are for a lifetime. Graduates, I hope that some of this will resonate, perhaps even inspire you. And because this is SIT, of course, I had to bring visual aids. So that's what this is about. So 5 chapters, 1984 is when it began. I arrived to SIT, it was September 2nd, 1984, 42 years ago. And after unpacking, standing in front of my dorm, which is Oak, right over there, my mom snapped this Polaroid of me and my dad. Why share it now? I know that there are many moms and dads here today celebrating your accomplishments. There are many family members, spouses, children, siblings. And it feels so important to acknowledge this connection of our families as we start to think about what it means to graduate. When I first told my folks about this little school that looked like a commune up on a hill in Vermont that taught exactly what I wanted to do with my life, because I had already been volunteering with exchange programs by then, my mom and dad supported me every step along the way. 20 years later, I joined the faculty, and my husband and I moved to Brattleboro. Thank you for that adventure, Dara. He's here too, of course. In fact, we lived just up Black Mountain Road a bit. Mom loved coming to Vermont. She visited campus often. We had a thriving campus community, so intercultural and focused on change and learning and sharing. And she would soak up the energy every moment she could. Sadly, my father never knew that I was teaching here 20 years at the very school where he dropped me off to get my own master's. where he kissed my cheek just over there that day. So learning number 1 has 2 parts. First, to the parents, to the spouses, to the children, to all your family members who are here today. Thank you for all you have done to support your student, your family member. And to our graduates, don't forget to treasure your moments of joy with them and your dreams and your achievements as well along the way. You deserve that, and those memories can help you in tough times too. I had just a few as a faculty member, and this picture was on my desk in my office over here, and it always carried me through. Okay. Chapter 2. As a student, one thing I studied on campus was how to create an orientation program. And after completing a project in my class, Technical Aspects of Foreign Student Advising, I received some feedback from the professor, and here's what she wrote. Overall, solid program. Specify arrival a day earlier, include a campus tour, have dean give welcome speech, always important. That's shorten last session. So 1 compliment and 4 other things to work on. But at the end, now Professor Emerita Linda Drake Gobo, who was the professor, she wrote, "Well done." And I have the proof right here because this is the paper with her writing and her feedback and her grade. If we got grades, it probably is a pass, I hope. Okay. Linda always challenged her students to keep things real, and she also knew how to make her students feel accomplished while still wanting to learn more. So Linda, thank you for teaching me to ask, where do you want to end up? What is that goal? How does it affect the journey? Thank you for modeling how to be the best mentor, and thank you for your friendship. Graduates, thank you. Yeah. Graduates, may you all be open and blessed with such relationships with your teachers, your mentors now and future, your colleagues now and future, and the people who you are going to be mentoring yourselves, your mentees. Chapter 3. Dr. Lawrence Levine was my dissertation chair. He was a nationally renowned historian. But instead of studying war and treaties and political whatever, he researched how everyday people lived their everyday lives and why that was important. From Larry, I learned to boldly tell my story, and my dissertation was the story of my grandparents who were part of a new community in the 1930s. My father was there, and how they found agency as immigrants to this country and built a life for themselves and their community. So graduates, the lesson here is to never question that your story matters, because it does. Never forget to ask yourself, how am I going to tell my story? Because it is an important one. And this is one of Larry's books. Ahead of his time in 1993, he was talking about inclusion and diversity and how to make the world a better place. So thank you, Larry. Chapter 4, know when to ditch the rules. Saeed is laughing because he knows I know this well. The speaker at my own doctoral graduation was then Tulane University's president, Dr. Scott Cowan. In his talk, Dr. Cowan shared his story of leading Tulane through the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. This was 2006, just 9 months after the hurricane had passed through New Orleans. Dr. Cowan related how in the week following the storm, he noticed that Tulane's staff and faculty fell into 2 groups. Some of them told him, I know this is a tough time. I'm going to get out of the way. Let me know when you want me to start teaching again. Others shared, I know I'm an administrator or a professor. I've got a carload of brooms and buckets and shovels with me. Where should I go to start cleaning up? Dr. Cowan recounted that in that disaster, those who clung to their pre-existing structures like a job description were useless, while those who looked beyond their usual responsibilities and did whatever was needed in that moment of time were the most effective in getting the school back on its feet. The lesson here, in challenging times, and perhaps not challenging times, forget about hierarchy, and really, one of my lessons still, get over yourself too. Just do whatever needs to be done to help others. I have proof that I wrote this last year because there's so many similarities, which means that it's important. So thank you, Barbara. That's okay. Last thing, we're there, chapter 5. Oh, and my visual aid for that is the commencement program from my doctoral graduation. And interestingly, on the page where my name is, just facing it is another candidate, Dr. Orly Fridman, who is on the SIT faculty and has taught about peace and conflict resolution. We didn't know each other then, but we, along with a third former SIT faculty mate, that's Tatsushi Arai, we're all in the same place at the same time, not knowing that our paths would be crossing on this campus shortly after. Okay, chapter 5. You all have worked really hard. You have read, you have reflected, you've practiced, you've researched, you've put up with faculty advisors, you've reflected more. All of this happened on top of the strong foundations that you brought into this program because you all had previous experience coming in. Now you've got the passion, vision, so much knowledge, so much skill. You've got so much to give. So yes, when questions arise, do your research, observe, ask others what they think, and listen. I know you know how to truly listen to understand as you gather information. And then trust your gut. It will reconcile your thinking head and your feeling heart. And if you listen closely, your gut will always guide you well. So I don't have anything to hold up as a visual aid for chapter 5 because you are it. It is with you already. Okay. In closing, I want to acknowledge the power of SIT students and alumni, especially because this world needs you more now than ever. As I've traced the impact of some of my own mentors, you now get to step into that role. You get to work in international education and global education and humanitarian affairs and diplomacy and sustainable practice, all around social change, making this world better. All of the sectors within which you work, all of the communities within which you live, all of your future colleagues and your mentees will benefit from your contributions. So I know that with all of you moving forward, the world is in good hands. And I am so appreciative for what you're going to accomplish. I am also excited for who you are becoming, who you are in the process of becoming. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the status of SIT alumni. Once you get the official signal, of course, from Carol, or Saeed, it's coming shortly. All the best as you continue on your journeys. And for now, my warmest congratulations as well on your excellent accomplishments. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Please join me one more time in applauding the service of Emerita Sora Friedman. Thank you. It's now also my great pleasure. I've had so many pleasures this morning. I'm so grateful. It is now my great pleasure to introduce this year's student speaker. Kylie Parks grew up moving across 7 countries as a child before moving to her passport country, the United States, at the age of 18. I swear when I read this the first time, I thought this would be a very beautiful opening sentence for a book. Let me read it again. Kylie Parks grew up moving across 7 countries as a child before moving to her passport country, the United States, at the age of 18. This upbringing left her well versed in the language of goodbyes and full of unanswered questions about where home really is. That question became the seed of her dissertation, Liminal Identities, a phenomenological and narrative inquiry into the experience of 16 adult third culture kids who integrated into educational systems in their passport countries after a childhood abroad. Her research introduced the concept of adpatriation, along with 3 original conceptual models for understanding how third culture kids navigate their identity and feelings of belonging during this major transition to their passport countries. Before and while pursuing her doctorates, Kylie taught leadership studies at Chapman University, where she was named Outstanding Educator in 2025 for her teaching impacts. Currently, she is an institutional research scientist at the University of Washington, where she aims to continue studying the gaps in how institutions track and support students like the one she once was. Kylie? Thank you.
Hi, everybody. It's so nice to be on this side. I'd like to invite all of the graduates to turn and look at your guests and your faculty and say a little hello. You all have such wonderful support systems, as I know I do as well. So thank you once again for being here today and for celebrating alongside us, all of you. I know we've been clapping a lot, but I want to take one more moment to congratulate all of the graduates who have made it today and have completed this major milestone. Let's give a round of applause. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. My name is Kylie Parks. I'm a graduate of the EDD program in global education, and I'm very honored to be speaking to you all today. Typically, student speakers share shared memories and challenges that we faced, but before yesterday, I didn't know any of you, and I just met all of you yesterday. But it isn't as much of a challenge as you may think to speak on the graduates of SIT, because this school, as everybody knows, attracts a very special type of person. So I wanted to share a story from one of my summer residencies here 2 years ago that I hope can resonate with all of us as we move forward. So 2 summers ago, I was in the middle of residency, in the middle of this weather, in the middle of more theory than my brain knew what to do with. It was buzzing. So naturally, I decided to go out for a walk on the beautiful campus. And I just wanted to try to organize my thoughts. I had all of these things swimming around my brain from all the readings and all of this new theory, and all this new knowledge that I was just trying to make sense of. And I didn't check the weather forecast, which was my mistake. But by the time I was down that hill over there and starting to walk, the sky just opened up completely, which I was hoping is not going to happen to me today. The sky just opened up and the raindrops were coming down sideways, and drops is not how I would accurately describe the rainfall in Vermont. I was soaked all the way through, past the point where you even try to stay dry. And I decided to put my car keys, my phone, and my earphones right in a mailbox down there. I don't think that was the best thing, but I figured it was the safest place to put my valuable possessions in a torrential downpour. And it worked out pretty well. And as I was walking down the main road down this hill, I had my head down, and I was trying to shield my eyes from the rain. And I started to see these patterns on the ground, and they were actually there. I wasn't hallucinating them. There were patterns on the ground. I saw thin rivers of water, of rainwater, flowing through grooves that were etched into the pavement, into the concrete. And these little rivers branched off down the hill, and they looked like it looked like lightning almost. It was very beautiful. And it was so clear to me that these grooves had been shaped season after season and storm after storm, where water was falling from the trees and from the sky into the same place on this road. And it actually shaped something as hard as concrete. And now, after all of these years, the water that came had paths to flow down when it rained. And I have to say that I've thought about that walk more than anything else from this program, because I think that those images of rivers in the concrete is the truest thing that anyone could tell me about the work that I do and about the work that we all do and will continue to do, and the work that our degrees actually prepare us for, regardless of the titles on our diplomas. We all show up day in and day out in communities and in systems and in institutions where it feels like nothing is resolved very quickly. And we do work whose effects we may never personally witness. And yet day by day and year by year, season by season, we trust that this groove is forming, even when the concrete still looks untouched in the dry seasons. And I think sometimes that trust is hard to hold on to because we're trained to look for immediate proof that a metric of some sort has moved. But none of what brought us to SIT really works that way. Whether it was the young child in the community program whose life you changed and you never knew, or maybe a policy brief that sat in somebody's inbox for 8 months before it even mattered, the classroom, the field site, a conference table, a research question that took you 2 years to learn how to ask. That's for me. None of that arrives quickly. So if there's one thing that I'd like to ask you to carry out of here and into the work you do and continue to do after graduation, it's this. I don't want you to wait until the groove is visible to trust that you are making one. I want you to value consistency over power. You are doing work that will change this world, and we just have to take it one rainy day at a time and trust. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you for that very beautiful and moving speech. We really appreciated hearing from you. And hopefully the rain will hold off a little bit longer. But we know how to take care of ourselves when that happens. Okay. Now the time really has come. We will be conferring degrees to our graduating students. At this time, will the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Education please rise or raise your hand as you are willing or able, either here in person or online? I'd also like to ask President Jenkins to join me here at the podium. President Jenkins, in accordance with the recommendation of the faculty and the vote of the Board of Trustees, I request that you confer upon these candidates the degree of Doctor of Education in recognition of their successful completion of all degree requirements.
On the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority granted by the state of Vermont and vested in the Board of Trustees of World Learning and School for International Training, and by them delegated to me, I am pleased to confer upon the candidates the degree of Doctor of Education with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Graduates, please indicate your new status by transferring your tassel from right to left. Congratulations and welcome to the company of scholars.
You can sit now, but you're going to stand up in just a minute. Okay. Graduates, as you come forward, our faculty and staff will assist you. Your names will be read by Professor Emerita Sora Friedman. You will then have your doctoral hood placed upon you, and Provost Grayweed will present you with your diploma cover and congratulate you. After leaving the stage, please return to your seats, remain seated for the remainder of the ceremony. I now invite Provost Grayweed and Associate Provost Sapra and Alan Cutler to join me at the podium to congratulate the graduates as they cross the stage. Doctoral graduates, please rise. And do we have them? Okay. You know what? We have to hood them too. So is that mic? Technical issue here on the dress rehearsal.
There we go.
There we go. So if you will, in an orderly fashion, make your way over to Dr. Friedman. We will then have the reading of names and the hooding and receiving of your covers.
Kylie Parks. Elizabeth Ann Tyree. And I just want to note that Dr. Alla Korj, who is chair of our doctorate in global education, was unable to be here today. I spoke to her this morning, and Annie Behrman, who also was not able to be here today, would have received her hood. Alla sends all three of you her best regards, and she's so sorry to not be here with a hug, and she is with you in spirit. Thank you.
At this time, will the graduates for the degree of Master of Arts please rise or raise your hand as you're willing or able, either here in person or online. President Jenkins, in accordance with the recommendation of the faculty and vote of the Board of Trustees, I request that you confer upon these candidates the degree of Master of Arts in recognition of their successful completion of all degree requirements.
On the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority granted by the state of Vermont and vested in the Board of Trustees of World Learning and the School for International Training, and by them delegated to me, I am pleased to confer upon the candidates of the degree of Masters of Arts with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Graduates, please indicate your new status by transferring your tassel from right to left. Congratulations and welcome to the company of scholars.
Graduates, as you come forward, our staff will assist you. As you walk across the stage, you will have your name read by your professors. Carla Linebeck, Director of Alumni and External Engagement, will place your master's hood upon you, and Provost Grayweed will present you with your diploma cover and congratulate you. After leaving the stage, please return to your seats and remain seated for the remainder of the ceremony. I now invite the faculty, they're so ahead of me. The faculty readers are now up at the stage. Well done. I also invite Provost Grayweed and Associate Provost Sopra and Alan Cutler to join us in congratulating the graduates as they cross the stage. Graduates, now that you have arisen, please proceed in an orderly fashion toward your faculty.
Graduates for the Master of Arts in Climate Change and Global Sustainability, Sarah Elizabeth Beckage. Joining us virtually, Meredith Ann Shahid.
Masters of Arts in Diplomacy and International Relations. We have 3 students who are joining us virtually. Euphemia, Claudia, Yvonne Mature. Adrian Nolasco. And Hayford Yaw O'Carey Jr. Congratulations.
Graduates for the Master of Arts in Humanitarian Assistance and Crisis Management, Caroline M. Ahrens. Tara Deanna Silver Beatty. Canyon J. Kamroth. Kelly Lynch. Madison Rose Mayorga Hall. Claire Schnefke. Joining us virtually, Abigail H. Aid. Lauren Rosella Eitmiller. Luke Lawrence Ragan.
Master of Arts in International Education, all of whom are joining us virtually. It's Lindsay T. Allen. Jorge Ignacio Gonzalez Torres. Tiana Judith Henry. Amanda Deborah Ledger. Justin Thompson Sleppy. Rihanna Landonia Queen Townsend. And for those of you from our Global Masters program who worked with Carolina Castro Huercano, I know she is with you in spirit today as well. So hola Carolina, mucho gusto. She's in Sevilla where she lives. So, thank you.
And I will be introducing our candidates for Masters of Arts in Sustainable Development Practice. I'm going to keep you three standing here and start with the virtual people so we end on a person who's here. In absentia, I want to just congratulate Pollyanna Alves de Quieros and Chloe Elizabeth Crow and Isabel Langwa Romero. And with us today, first is Ronwin Huanchi Hagedorn. Sure. And Tristan Charles Moss. And Lily Kurland Platt.
You may all be seated. Congratulations to all of our graduates, those joining us in person and online. Now to all of you who graduated. In the years ahead, when you think of the influences on your life, you will see the faces and hear the voices of many of your professors. This is an appropriate moment for you to thank them for the role that they have played in the process of educating you. Will the faculty please stand and be recognized? Thank you. In addition, today would not be possible with the support and encouragement of your family and friends. It is your parents, partners, children, your friends, both those outside the Graduate Institute and within, including your dedicated staff of SIT, Vermont, and around the world, who've been there to support you in your quest for education. I ask the parents, partners, children's, relatives, friends, and staff members, pretty much everyone who's not graduating or is a professor, who have encouraged and helped these graduates to please stand if you are able and be recognized. High fives all around. Thank you. Please be seated. I would now like to ask Carla Lineback, Director of Alumni and External Engagement, to come to the podium to welcome our graduates to the worldwide community of SIT alumni. Before she gives her remarks, I would like to share that you have all been given a commemorative water bottle courtesy of our Alumni Engagement Office. I see some of you who found it good. Joe's demonstrating, yes. We hope that you will carry it with you, use it often, stay hydrated, and be reminded that wherever you go, you're part of the SIT family.
Congratulations, graduates. It's truly my pleasure to welcome you to the SIT and World Learning family. This alumni community is a vibrant and growing network of over 130,000 change makers from all parts of the globe. You will find your fellow SIT alumni engaged in amazing work across a full spectrum of social impact fields, as peace builders, diplomats, development practitioners, humanitarian workers, educators, active community builders, and so much more. We eagerly look forward to hearing where your SIT degree takes you. Today is about celebrating all the hard work and contributions you have already made while earning your degree. I'm here to remind you that the Office of Alumni Engagement looks forward to celebrating all your successes and accomplishments as well. We hope you'll continue to stay engaged with the SIT community in the years to come. Join us for alumni gatherings and keep an eye out for virtual events as well. I encourage you to maintain those connections that you have made during your SIT journey by staying in touch with your peers, our network, and with this organization. Congratulations again, and I'm excited to see all of the ways that you will make the world more sustainable, peaceful, and just.
Thank you, Carla. Thank you, everybody. Again, congratulations. I'm going to conclude officially this ceremony, but please be mindful that there will be a few housekeeping notes, so do stay seated even as I officially bring this wonderful ceremony to an end. So on this day, the 8th of August in the year 2026, the School for International Training has officially conferred degrees on these graduates. Graduates go forward with courage and grace, carrying with you the traditions, strengths, and visions of this institution. On behalf of the trustees, faculty, and staff, I declare that the 60th annual commencement exercises of the SIT Graduate Institute have now concluded.
Warm congratulations to the graduates and their families, and about those housekeeping notes. Graduates, please pick up your diplomas in room 101 of the Lowy International Center. Students should return SIT regalia to Roach 109. Students may keep their black gowns, hoods, and caps. You've earned them. Faculty and platform party members, please return your regalia to Roach 108 and Boyce 101, respectively. And to everyone, please join us as our guests for reception in the Lowy International Center. And now, as our band begins to lead our recessional from this place, we ask the audience to please remain in your places until the academic procession, first the platform party, then the faculty, and finally the graduates have recessed. Thank you so much.